socio-economic analyst, a government consultant, and a believer in the Nigerian project. He is Francis Onwemele. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate that.
Yes. Now, let's look at the Nigeria of today. Are we ripe for restructuring? And if we are, what nature of restructuring should we be talking about?
Okay, let me be very blunt here, and I apologize if I use any hot words. They're not like whether we are ripe or not ripe. As long as you are a human being, right? Restructuring should be a continuum recurring decimal. Now, let me also drive home a point here. There has been some argument driven essentially by a very dishonest approach on the whole thing. Restructuring is simple. It simply means change. As simple as that. It simply means change whatever you are doing now that is not giving you the dividend you expect. It's as simple as that. Every other thing becomes nomenclature. It simply means change. If what you are doing now is not yielding you the right result, change. That's what it means. Now, inside that changing process, you can have the different segments. But let's not beg the question. I'm shocked that many of the Nigerian leaders are pretending they don't know what restructuring is all about. If you are not achieving your result, restructure. That's what it means. If that word is too long, it simply means change. Simple as that.
All right.
Very right.
For our viewers nationally and on the international scene, we will be moving off now to take a live broadcast from Taraba State. But stay with us as we continue our dialogue on people, politics, and power. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is right now in Taraba State, commissioning a number of projects, and we'll be taking you to Jalingo, the Taraba State capital, where that is coming from. Stay with us. Because, Mr. Onwemele, yes. the president's broadcast on Sunday have been described by many people in different ways. Some say, oh, he didn't go far enough. But he was very categorical about what he thinks about the Nigerian project. He says Nigeria is not, the unity of Nigeria is non-negotiable. And many commentators have picked him up on that. Is Nigeria negotiable?
One, yes, Nigeria is very, very negotiable. Now, let me be professorial here. I think we are making a fundamental error. Either we don't understand the meaning of the word negotiable, or we just close our eyes. I think those are essentially military words. You don't say that something is not negotiable. Not even with your wife. Not even with your children. Please, Nigeria is negotiable. I guess what they are scared about is this. Because you have failed in governance, in every facet of it, you are scared to allow people in court of negotiation to appraise your governance. So to hide that, say Nigeria is not negotiable. Nigeria is very negotiable. Now, if you want to avoid the statement of what you have been, all the cacophonic voices you have been hearing all over the country, all it just means that give good governance. That's it.
Isn't there a difference between Nigeria is not negotiable and Nigeria's unity is not negotiable?
No, even in both situations. Let me drive home a point. Because when you say Nigeria is not negotiable, Nigeria is not negotiable, it's like as if you've caught some group of people, put in a cage. Say, gentlemen, you're going nowhere. But that's not the situation. This is a free world and a free country. Now, if what you are trying to do is to ensure that we are together, now, the solution to that is what I can tell you. You had that balance in the US. American dream. Or you had that balance in Canada. Oh, a beautiful place to live. People made it so. When you have responsible governance, when you give hope to your citizens, they will coin the word that Nigeria is beautiful. You can't live anywhere outside Nigeria. You don't come in with poor power, poor educational system, no water system, poor health system, colossal failure, no third door. You say, hey, shut up. Nigeria is not negotiable. That's a wrong approach. I think they don't understand the meaning of negotiation. What it simply means is this. If I am a sincere leader to you, and probably I'm not doing too well, and I'm doing my best, you should be to come to say, Francis, sorry, this is what you are doing. This is what you meant well, but there are better ways to do it. That's the process of negotiation. It doesn't mean if I'm negotiating, you mean I must destroy the country. No. It only means that we are in this boat together. It's in our interest to get it working. So, gentlemen, whatever options you have, whatever challenge you have, whatever better solutions you have, bring it up. Let's discuss it. That is the meaning of negotiation. Negotiation does not mean I will split, I will scatter. No, I am an unrepentant Nigerian. And I know that Nigeria is better when we are together. But that word, non-negotiable, is very insulting. Don't let them not use, let them drop it off from our parlance. It's very insulting. It makes people feel you are in a cage. You are imprisoned. You don't do that. Even people in prison, when they go to appeal court, what are you doing? Are you not negotiating your release? So don't use those words. It's not negotiable. It's insult Nigerian sense of responsibility. Instead, realize that good governance is not negotiable. Not Nigerians. Good governance is not negotiable. A government comes to power and you are ashamed you haven't done what you have done, you're supposed to do. Resign and get out.
Now that phrase seemed to echo back to the past, because you recall that in 2014, when then President Goodluck Jonathan convoked the National Conference, in his opening address at that conference, he did say that Nigeria's unity was non-negotiable. That was not going to be negotiated. So whatever the delegates were going to do at that conference was going to be within the ambit of Nigeria's continued unity. Yep. Now, so when we talk about negotiations now, what in Nigeria of today, what should we be negotiating?
Now, let me go back to what Jonathan. If I were in his shoe, what I would have told them is that this is this country. Do you think we are better off together or not? Just let's be fair to ourselves. Do you think we are better off together or not? You'll be amazed that the average Nigerian wants to live together. There's nothing as powerful as a nation where the people are happy to be with one another. So they will not come up with that concept. Nigeria is a dream, just like you have the American dream. Nigeria is this. Then people are okay, people will be excited. So when you want to have a case where you want a country that the people will be very proud of, the solution is this. All this agitation you are saying now, the restructuring, the glamour, the quarrel, like I said, they are symptoms of a problem. They are not the problem. iPad, Arewa, youth, name them. Reactions, negotiation, they are all symptoms of the problem. The real root of the problem is the failure, colossal failure of leadership. If that is fixed, everything will fall in line. Nigerians want to live together, but don't insult their intelligence. It's not negotiable. No. Tell Nigerians that, look, to get all the roads started in Nigeria is not negotiable. To fix hospital in Nigeria is not negotiable. I would be excited if the president had said, gentlemen, I spent 100 days in London. I'm ashamed I did that. You know what? That hospital, whatever it takes, I'm going to replicate a world-class hospital in each of the 6 political zones, and that is not negotiable. Then I will commend him. You know what I'm saying? That is what you should be saying. I'm going to replicate, never again will a Nigerian governor or a president ever go out of this country to get treatment. I will ensure that every part of this country is well covered health-wise, because I have seen what it takes. Then you will say, to do this is not negotiable. I must get this done. Gentlemen, I've looked at the third road, federal third roads in the country. I must get all the roads tarred, and it's not negotiable. That is when you can use that word. But to tell Nigerians who are saying, come on now, you're not doing things well, say Nigerian unity, no, you are making, don't insult Nigerians' intelligence. Actually, we want to live together. Nigerians want to live together. That's the truth. Go north, south, east, and west. They want to live together. The only cry is that, how come we have not been fortunate to have responsible leadership? How come we have not been fortunate to have leaders who would take this country as their baby? Like I said earlier on, the problem we have is this. This is your table. The day we have a leader that says, this country is my country, the day we get that leader that will step in, that I'm from Edo State. If I become a president today, I don't want to be seen and addressed as an Edo man. I want to be seen and addressed as a Nigerian who took from Sokoto to Calabar, from Lagos to Maiduguri as his country. And every child is my child. Every child is my child. I should be feeling ashamed and in pain that all my siblings in Benin, in Igbaki, are going to school. But my fellow siblings in Zamfara, in Sokoto, in Kebbi, are not going to school. I should feel that pain in me as a Nigerian.
Now, you have touched on an issue which some people disagree with very vehemently. the crisis of leadership. Almost everyone seems to say, blame the problem in Nigeria on bad or poor leadership. But there are those who say, no, it is not the problem of leadership. It is a crisis of civilization.
No, it's not fair. That's not true. Because when people say civilization, it's very relative. I read a book in UK, where they said even the Oba of Benin, the Benin Kingdom, has street light before UK. And I was just wondering, really? So it's not just a civilization. The Benin Kingdom had an organized administrative structure before the United Kingdom. So it's not civilization, not at all. Truth is this, let's not beg the question. We had leadership failure. Leadership failure, when people are benefiting from an awkward system, they usually would defend it and protect it. But let's move out of that selfishness. Let's be fair. It's leadership, it's not civilization.
So why do we have awkward systems in the first place?
Because
I mean, what is the problem? Where do we locate the challenge of system failure?
The challenge is this. That's why I told people the other time that what we need is just one leader. One. Nigerians are fantastic followers. One leader. When a leader comes in and is so responsive, the impact is like a virus. It goes round. Where we got it wrong is leaders come into power and they see that, oh, this is my opportunity to grab for myself and my family and my close friends. That's where we miss it. That's where we got it wrong. We have not gotten leaders that say, hey, gentlemen, forget about these things. It's about developing this country. We have not been able to link up the fact that, listen, if you bring the Commonwealth of the country together, we will all live like very healthy, good millionaires than I and my family alone live well. I've challenged many of my friends. I say, it's a case of leadership failure. How do you feel comfortable in a state and you have 4 million children in your state not going to school, but all your children are in UK, are in Australia, are in Paris, and you are comfortable, and you are the governor of a state? It's leadership failure. The day we get that leader, you'll be amazed. And it will take less than 12 months, and the country will change. You'll be seeing a dramatic change of event. And the power of leader is so incredible that leader can go out and deceive the public and infuse wrong message to the public. That, oh, this guy hates you. That guy hates you. That is your enemy. And the public, when they are hungry, they believe him. They believe you, and they start attacking themselves. Meanwhile, the problem is me, as the leader. I have failed to deliver the dividend of leadership. It's still leadership.
So isn't it then true, according to what former U.S. President Barack Obama said when he visited Ghana, that in Africa we have over the years built strong leaders and failed woefully to build strong systems?
No, what Obama said was
systems that could actually put the leaders in their proper and their right places, okay, and make them work for the people.
Let me explain. Maybe what Obama is trying to say is this one. He said we have built strong personalities rather than strong institutions.
That's right.
And not strong leaders. Now, because if it is the leaders.
But the personalities make up the.
Yes, I'm coming. You see, when you have a good leader, right, he has two ways to go. Either build a strong institutions or build a selfish institution. We have leaders who have chosen to build selfish empire. If we had leaders who had built strong institutions, what Obama is saying would have been a perfect thing. We have leaders who have not chosen to build a strong institution. It still boils down to leadership. Institutions do not build themselves. Human beings like you and I. That's why you are an incredible creation. Institutions can't build themselves. Leaders built institutions. Leaders established. AIT, that's the number that established from heaven. Somebody dreamt about it. That person could have chosen to build an hotel. That person could have chosen to just go and open a bakery or a beer parlor. But he chose to go into communication. So it's the same thing. Leaders build institutions. The day we start getting it right for them to build institutions, Nigerian problem will be solved.
So shouldn't the restructuring we are talking about, the agitations for restructuring, shouldn't it therefore begin from the hearts of men? Shouldn't we begin to restructure our hearts, our minds, and our attitudes? Good. Before we begin, because, I mean, coincidentally, this was an advocacy that was made by traditional rulers from Edo State only 2 days ago. Now look, what we need in Nigeria is the restructuring of the heart of men.
Excellent.
Restructuring of the attitudes of the people. Let's begin from there. And then we can then begin to think of good leaders and strong systems.
Good. Now let me help you out here. We are in a deep mess. We don't have the luxury of bringing a process that will not deliver. If I say let's start building the heart of people, that is neither here nor there. How do you measure it that I've started? How do you measure it that I've finished building the heart of people? The heart of people will come in naturally, build simultaneously as you are putting things in place. I'll give you a good example. The reason you will have a typical American or Israeli who is given a position, not because he's more holier than you and will not steal, it's not because they personally built his heart. He saw his leaders, took national funds to build national institutions. He saw his leaders turn a desert to an arable environment. He saw his leaders giving selfless service. That act is what built the act, the mind. And that's exactly why people tell you that you've heard a phrase, Nigerians are corrupt. You must have heard it. And I people all over the world say Nigerians are not corrupt. For 15 years I worked in Canada. And the best of there's no way they give an award for 10 best staff in Royal Bank of Canada. At least 4 or 5 will be Nigerians. And they say, come, how come your guys do so well and your country is so terrible? Nigerians are not corrupt. The reason you are looking as if you are corrupt is this. Nigerians are behaving the way they are behaving now because tomorrow is hopeless. Gentlemen and ladies, fellow Nigerians, when your tomorrow is hopeless, the natural instinct of humanity is that you want to survive. Our tomorrow looks hopeless. So when an hopeless man is in a position, all you do now is to say, how do I survive first? The reason the guy in Israel or in US or Canada will not steal public fund is tomorrow is given. Our tomorrow is hopeless. Nobody knows that you are even here today, even if you are a broadcaster. Nobody knows what happens today. If you lose your job today, nobody cares for you. But that's not the case. I left Canada some 3-4 years ago. Till today, my local government still writes me. Are you okay? What are you doing now in Nigeria? Otherwise, you can be trained for this, trained for that, trained for this. Gentlemen, that institution was built by people, not angels. And that is what built people. Nigerians are not corrupt. Our tomorrow is hopeless. Look at the last news from AIT. That permanent secretary in Delta State that stole over 400 something million. I cried for him. He has served 35 years. If that gentleman could not steal money in the first 34 years, why is he stealing money now? He has looked at his scenario. He's now 60 years old. Look at his back, no house for himself, nothing to fall back, and he's going to leave. And fortunately for him, Shopee money came in. He grabbed it. Imagine if that guy had his own house when he was 25 years old. Had his children gone to school free, had medical care, he would steal that money. So that's the classical situation of Nigeria. Tomorrow is hopeless. We have to find a way to make Nigeria and Nigerians feel tomorrow is hopeful.
In other words, you're saying that the system that we operate at the moment makes people
behave the way they are behaving.
Indulge themselves in unwholesome activities.
Sure, that is true.
Right. So now, how do we go about correcting these anomalies in the system and build a system that guarantees equity and justice?
Now, thank God the world is now a village. You don't have to go too far looking for it. I tell you, if you don't want to crack your brain so much, simple. Go to economies where these things are working and look at what they are doing. Take a step to Canada. Take a step to Australia. Canada I know so well. Go there and see how things are working. Ontario alone is 10 times richer than Nigeria. Go there and see how things are working. What they do is this. The commonwealth of the country, and they make it clear that we are better off if it's used. But the leader himself has to be convinced. This is where the problem comes in now. Which is why when the old traditional leader said from the mind, it actually means the mind of the leader. If I become the president today, what will my mind tell me and what will I do? If I become the president of the country today and I go with the intention of giving hope to the average Nigerians will change. So the leaders themselves have to be, that's why the ball is in the court of the president. I can't imagine the president today holding national broadcast once in a month to talk to Nigerians about why we should give hope. You can do free education in this country. It's very easy. It's the cheapest thing to do. You can do free health in this country. It's very easy. It's the cheapest thing to do. But you must have that political will and that sincerity of purpose that, do I do this? Should I do this? Is it better? Once you are convinced, you find it is so easy. It is the easiest thing to do. I remember as a young then, Obafemi said, education is free. I don't know where you are then. I remember MPN saying, education is not free. It can't be done. And I believe the MPN guys. Because based on my limited knowledge in secondary school then, so can you give everybody free education? And I thought so, until I stepped my feet into Canada and I said, what? And it's so elementary, so simple. It's so simple. It's not a rocket science. So until we purge ourselves of that self-centeredness, selfishness. Let me ask you a question. How many British MP, how many American MP have bought a house in Africa? How many of them have bought a house in Africa? Go to Bombardier in Canada. We are the second highest customers to them. On what basis? You don't have third road. You are the highest user of private jet. Should you be ashamed of that? Bombardier will tell you, hey, Nigeria is fantastic. If you walk in there today, my brother, they will give you a red carpet because you are in Nigeria. You know why? Because they know that you are coming to buy $20 million jet and you pay cash.
You're stealing money.
They won't use that word for obvious reason.
Obviously.
They won't for obvious reason because they are businessmen. They say unlike the other millionaires who buy 20 million worth of jet and they will pay over 15 years. But Nigerians, fantastic guys. When they step in, they buy and they pay cash. But believe you me, they know what they are saying. They know we are being foolish. They know. So come back to that square one. Why are our leaders doing those things? Because they thought in their own thinking that if I amass so much wealth, I would have secured my future, my children's future, and my children's children's future. That's a lie. That's a lie. It's not too far long ago. That will not secure. What will secure your children's future is an egalitarian system in the country that provides your children an opportunity to go to school, have good health if they need to be treated. That when I'm sick as a president, out of shame, I better die in this country than to go and stay in a foreign country. Things like that. I'm not saying I'm not against the president going. For now, you can do that. But when you get to that level where you said, gentlemen, for what? If I perish, I perish. This country, nobody is going to get foreign treatment again. In UK alone, we have over 4,900 medical doctors in UK. And I'm sure US will be 3 times that. The best gynecology in Nigeria today, in Canada today is in Nigeria. The 2 best brains in Canadian nuclear power are guys from Kwale, and they are Nigerians. So we have the capital manpower already. We have it. We have the human capital already. But just that leadership failure has not been able to bring them together to see us through.
So let's come back to the issue of political restructuring, which is the contentious issue that is trending all around the country today. Those who believe in it and those who do not believe in it. We saw much of that in the colloquium organized by the NLC yesterday. Now, what format should a restructuring of any sort take?
Okay, the format could start from this. We have to be, first of all, be honest. Gentlemen, do we have a problem? Say yes. The problem is that we have a system that is not allowing our children to excel. We have a children that is not producing. We have a system where almost all of our factories have closed down. But what is the problem? Let's be honest with ourselves. We have a system where people are not encouraged to be productive. Now, but why? Because you have a system where the system I've told you, relax. If I know you as my brother and you are a governor, I start celebrating. Not because of what you want to do, but because I know that I can come to you, you give me a contract of 300 million, and I sell it to another person, I make 70 million doing nothing. Now, to restructure, once we agree that this is our problem, we'll say, okay, how do we go about it? Now, I want to knock out the fear of people who are thinking that restructuring simply means those who are not making enough money now will not live in poverty. No. It means that I will wake you up from your slumber. I say, gentlemen, do you know you are sitting on a gold mine? Do you know you can do this, you can do this, you can do this? The Minister for Agriculture was saying that South Korea came and begged, or China came and said, if you can process your own cashew nut, which is about $12 billion, we are ready to buy it off you. Now, it's a structure that is productive that will address that. As long as the structure is not productive, we ignore it.
In other words, you are saying that we must not limit ourselves to political restructuring.
No.
It has to be a holistic
A holistic affair. Political
social,
economic yes,
restructuring.
It has to be total because just why you have so much noise about the political restructuring is simply because this is democracy. Politicians are like the guys on the forefront. They're making so much noise. And they are the guys actually causing the problem. If you want to do political restructuring, I'll give you a good example. You're asking a young man who has a brilliant idea now to come from presidency. The form is 25 million. You've knocked him off. That's it. He can't go. 15 million for the governor. You've knocked him off. So those who have stolen money will always be there. You have to find a way to say, no, this system can't produce the best brain you are looking for. Let's find a way to find where minds, cultured minds who can deliver, could come up from the system. The way it is now, it's only the money bag or an apology to the money bag that can come up. That's why you have the same name, recycling. Just the thing. As long as it takes me 25 million to buy a form for presidential election, you can't have a genuine Nigerian leader come up from that system. It's not possible. It's not possible. Now,
there are those who have also argued in the wake of the constitution review process, which took place just a few weeks back, that perhaps the agitations for restructuring may be a bit more muted if only our representatives had decided to flow with the devolution of power process. And that if you devolve powers to the different units of government, different levels of government, state and local government, and to the different arms of government, that some of the issues that are being raised with the restructuring process will be adequately addressed.
Again,
what's your take on that?
Again, it's not true. Let me tell you the truth. See, again, they are begging the question. Let me take you back a little bit. If you devote power now to the state, and a corrupt mind still man those power, we're about to square one. You hear what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Don't you have corrupt local government chairman? Local government. Don't you have corrupt principal of a secondary school? It will still be there. So the first thing is that if we develop a structure where even if you are corrupt and you find yourself in power, you can't even steal. You can't even do that because the system will bring you down. Are you hearing me? So if you have a system where you are in government and somebody is challenging you, say, excuse me, when you are in government, you have only one car and a 3-bedroom flat. In 9 months, you have 2 houses in Maitama, 1 in Nasokoro, and they bring the facts. If that system can pull you out, you will resign before they question you. I know one of the governors in Canada, simply because he took a first-class ticket to attend Mandela's burial, she was asked to resign. Governor of a state, that state is richer than Nigeria. She flew for that burial with a first-class ticket. And they went to her history. She had never flown a first-class ticket in her life before she became a governor. And the citizen rose up and said, can't mess up with taxpayers' money. Is Mandela your father, your mother, your sister? Even if you must go, why first class? See, this is the system now. That system is what purged itself. And she pleaded and they told her, and she resigned and stepped out until we get to that level where people begin to see politics as a call to service. Now, we can develop a system where you can't come out and want to be a local government chairman or governor. Show us your pedigree of what you have done. All right? Show us your pedigree, and the world will appraise you for what you have done. But now, what you have people who have absolutely no experience or who have been found to be thieves in other places. And yet, they have enough money and they became governor. Because the system is so monetized that brilliant ones, and we have them a lot in Nigeria, all over the place. They are quiet. They're not talking because they don't have the strength to talk.
Doesn't that suggest that we should put in place a recruitment process?
Political recruitment process and a system that will prevent the money bags. Because they can easily frustrate you if you're not careful. It's not a complex thing. The problem is complex, but the solution is simple. We should put a structure in place where, because you are a money bag, does not guarantee your political position. That's 1. 2. If you are coming to contest and you have been found to be lacking in these areas, the system will adjudge you and flush you out. 3. If you are in power, system must have a way of adjudicating what you have done so far and what you have. Don't beg the question. Once you have found It's found to have mismanaged public fund. You should go in for it. Once that is done, let me give one funny thing. I know something in 2005 about the richest man in Canada had a problem, and he was being tried. And I said, they can't jail this guy, using my Nigerian experience, for fraudulent activities. I said they can't jail because he's the richest man. That guy spent 6 years in jail. Can you try it in Nigeria? You can't do it. So it is a system, not built by angels, built by men over a period of time. The area will start delivering message of value, creativity, honesty, integrity, your love for your country. Let that go deep into the mind and the heart of our children. Then we'll begin to build an egalitarian society that will say, yes, it's not about money. It's not about money. It's not about the money you have. It's about your love for this country. Once that happens, you hear about the Nigerian dream. Once that happens, restructuring or whatever they call it, iPod or the secessionist will die off.
So that brings me to my next question, which is, why do you think these agitations for restructuring, the clamor for secession and all of that are taking regional and ethnic coloration? Because
we have chosen, just like medical science will tell you, if you have malaria now and you refuse to address it on time, it will become complicated. It will become chronic. It can lead to so many other things. This thing has been glamoring for the past 30 years. We have been begging the question, hoping and praying and pretending it will go away. So what are you seeing now? It's coming up more and more. It's coming up because of leadership failure. See, I'll give you a good example. If I was a president and I take a trip to the southeast and I sit down with the so-called agitators of Biafra, sit down with them, so you are my children. What is your problem? There's a second Niger bridge. Yes, I know. They covered it. I mean, it's a major thing. I began to address their need. By themselves, they will withdraw. I don't started the work now. I just went in there myself and sat down all the town hall meeting. If you watch, when Professor Sibajo went to Niger Delta, that was what stopped the bombing. We went and talked to them, one-to-one. So that is the psychology. But we have to show sincerity. People are agitating because they are feeling that all our cries, you don't care about it. And the situation will get even worse. That's what leads to agitation. You have to give them hope. That, okay, we have made a mistake. We want to address it. We will correct it. Not just say it and keep it quiet. It's 2 years now. And then you make an effort to start correcting it. People will start saying, okay, now, it's talking sense. It's making sense. Let's cooperate with him. In other words, you're advocating greater dialogue in resolving some of these agitations and some of these clamors, rather than the resort to other means. Just greater dialogue with superior arguments. That's all. And other arguments will just die down. Show sincerity, engage the people on a one-to-one basis. Don't tell them that you can't talk about it. On another note, let's look at what the role of the executive and the legislative arms, as they are today, as they are constituted today, who should be in resolving some of these issues, in the restructuring process and all of that. Because the president did say in his broadcast, for instance, that, and of course one of his aides said just a day or two ago, that the presidency or the president cannot unilaterally impose or restructuring on the country. Which is true. And the president said in his broadcast on Sunday that, look, the legislative arm of government, who are the representatives of the people, are key in this process. So what should be their roles? Now, okay, like we acknowledge the presence of the National Assembly and the executives. And there's no law that says they cannot communicate, they can't have a handshake. Now, if the president believes in restructuring and has done some intellectual research, which I believe he has, or his team has done, now what you do is to engage the National Assembly and say, listen, I have a feeling that this agitation came because of leadership failure. Please, be bold and be fair to me. Can we highlight what it is and how do we make an effort to change or correct this leadership failure? Because legislation is actually meant for debate, whether in National Assembly, either in House of Rep or the Senate. Let them come out and come out with a debate, and you tell us, I want to be involved in it. I'm not too sure it is wrong for the president to get involved in a debate in National Assembly. Because if he's interested, if he's passionate, okay, let's take the issue of division of power. Why should I devote power? People will say this is the reason. When it comes to healthcare, the best man to handle it is a man close to the grassroots. When it comes to policing, the best policing is a community policing. Okay, how do we go about it? Now you are providing a solution. All this will just die in natural death. So you need to use National Assembly effectively as it is.
All right, we'll have to leave it at that for now.
Yes,
this is a continuous dialogue, continuous debate.
I pray that
my guest has been Francis Onwemele, who is a government consultant. He's a seasoned socio-economic analyst and one who believes in the Nigerian project. Thank you so much for giving us your time this afternoon. Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, my name is Imoni Amarere. Join us again when we bring you another edition of People, Politics,